Hi everybody, it's Brother Peter. Happy St. John's Eve. It's the night before the feast of St. John the Baptist. And in a lot of places in the world, that's called Bonfire Night. So in Scandinavian countries, in Ireland and Scotland, places around Europe, tonight, there will be huge bonfires. A lot of the celebrations will take place on top of the mountains. It's really quite a beautiful site, and if you Google it, Bonfire Night or St. John's Eve, and look at the images, you can see many images of these, the flames coming off of the top of these mountains. It's actually an ancient ritual that had nothing to do with the Christian church, but the Christians, of course, had to capture it and, contextualize it, within the story of St. John the Baptist. But St. John's Night, Midsummer or Bonfire Night, actually predates Christianity by thousands of years. So anyhow, all that said, let's take a look at the gospel. So today's gospel is a reading from the Gospel of Mark. On that day, as evening drew on, Jesus said to his disciples, let us cross to the other side. Leaving the crowd, they took Jesus with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. A violent squall came up, and waves were breaking over the boat, so that it was already filling up. Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. They woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, "Quiet, be still." The wind ceased, and there was great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you terrified? Do you not have faith?" They were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this whom even wind and sea obey?" The Gospel of the Lord. So wow, Jesus wakes up from a nap, just kind of disturbed, I've actually been on the I'm thinking they're talking about the Sea of Galilee. I did take a boat ride in the Sea of Galilee. It's actually quite amazing and beautiful place in the world. There's a lot of directions you can go. These stories have like multi-layers, and there's a lot of crazy directions you can take them in. But a few that resonate for me is Jesus says, "Let us cross to the other side." Now, okay, this is a geographical suggestion. I don't necessarily think the story is about that. So let us cross to the other side. So Jesus is always drawing us out of our comfort zone, out of our place of safety, into the unknown, into an encounter with the other. So let us cross to the other side. We enter into this reading knowing that Jesus is enticing us into some sort of situation where things are going to get a little bumpy. So they took Jesus. The other thing I love, I don't really know what it means, but it just popped out to me, and I love it. They took Jesus with them, just as he was. But this whole thing, that they get into this storm on the sea, the waves, all this, craziness. And so they wake Jesus up. Jesus rebukes the wind and says to the sea, "Quiet, be still." But I also think, and this is just my opinion, Jesus is saying to the disciples, "Quiet, be still." And I also think in the story, what's resonating with me, and maybe you at this point, is Jesus is saying to us, in the midst of all of our chaos, our anxiety, our worries, all of this stuff. Quiet and be still. That to me is most beautiful about it. He says, why are you terrified? Do you not have faith? No, we can be terrified and be people of faith. This is sort of a challenge, right? So, give you an example. Monsignor Romero, appointed to Archbishop of El Salvador by the wealthy families who controlled El Salvador because he was so timid and studious and timid. Then he became this revolutionary, leader and martyr in El Salvador. But Romero said that he was terrified the whole time. So we can be people of deep faith within terrifying situations where we are experiencing that fear and terror. But I think within that milieu, we're also invited to create a baseline of quiet and stillness. And this is not just a concept in Christianity. This is universal to the spiritual life. So if you study with, Buddhist teachers, whatever tradition you're going to come at this from, at some point, you're going to have to create a set of circumstances and a practice where it is possible for you to experience this quiet and this stillness, even when the world is falling apart, even on crazy days, even during, heartbreaking times, even in grief, even in anger, all that. It's sort of easy for me to say. I think it's kind of funny for me to say because I'm old and I'm retired, really. But when you're younger, you get hung up into all these, all this crazy stuff that takes you out of your place of serenity. The other piece here, let's cross to the other side. This reminds me of a story. In Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a big book, the blue book. It's called The Big Book. It happens to be the most frequently stolen book from public libraries, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. But anyhow, and there are in the beginning, Bill Wilson, the founder of AA, explains, sort of like how to do this program of AA. And then there are stories like testimonials in the back. So in one of them, I think this is so beautiful and true. And it's not only about alcoholics. This person comes in at the point in their life where they've wrecked everything. They've ruined everything. They've been drinking. They've been, they've just been a shipwreck, right? And they come to the AA meeting. And they describe the experience of being in that place of just shame and desolation and looking into the room from the outside and seeing the recovering people at this meeting and hearing them gathering, getting coffee, all this stuff, and they're hearing their laughter. And so this person just could not fathom that there was anything to be, there was any levity in the situation. So why are these people laughing, And, come to learn later, right? Because they got over themselves. They're not the center of the world, They wrecked everything, fine. They stopped drinking. They put everything back together. Then guess what? Life wrecked it again a couple of times probably, and they learned how to be grown-ups and put things back together. So the point is, though, let us cross to the other side. The person, the alcoholic, encountering this situation for the first time ever, needs to cross to the other side. They need to venture into the unknown. So I mean, this is true of many different situations in life. I'm describing one that resonates with me personally. But, stop and think for yourself. Haven't you been invited over the course of your lifetime, spiritually, you felt this little nudge that it was time to do the next thing or the next right thing or move forward? And, despite like this nudge or this, sense that it's time for me to do this thing, there's this, deep fear and anxiety around heading into the unknown. So, like anything else, you have to do it to get better at it. So a lot of people will describe early experiences they had with, in their career or, in their family life, just in this human experience where, we're called into the unknown. And that's a great time to tap into this deep peace, this quiet and this stillness that Jesus is, commanding the wind and the sea to obey, but also, more importantly, you and I can tap into that beautiful shalom of Jesus, the resurrection Jesus, who is the Prince of Peace, who enters the room of frightened disciples, apostles, and wishes them peace. Shalom, he comes right out of the gate in the resurrection experiences, offering peace, creating peace, embodying peace. And so that's an invitation for us too. Not that we're ever going to get really great at it, not that anybody's going to be perfect at it, not that, I'm tomorrow morning going to get up and be flipped out over something and lose it and be angry and crazy, whatever. I'm not a spiritual guru, neither are you, and you don't have to be. Because even when you lose it, you can just stop. You can just say to yourself, as somebody said to me a long time ago, I just thought, I'm going to let go of this right while it's happening. So anyway, let go of things right while they're happening. Calm yourself, find the quiet, go to the quiet place, but don't be afraid to go to the other side. Get in the boat. Don't be afraid to get in the boat and go to the other side. Because that's where Jesus is. That's where Jesus is going to wake up and meet you. And everything's going to be okay. You're doing great. Anyhow, God bless everybody. Happy St. John's Eve. Get out there and light your bonfire. I'm not lighting a bonfire. I lit this candle. I lit bonfires when I was younger. We won't get into that. Anyhow, take care, and I will see you next week. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.